Yo, Merry fucking Christmas. But Gabriel, it is not hicking Christmas anymore. No. Fuck you. I still got the Christmas spirit, so it's Christmas, goddammit. Exactly a year ago, some of you might remember this. Last Christmas, unfortunately, I had to be the Grinch. Hey, it's a dirty job, but someone had to do it. Last Christmas, what I was doing is what I do best. I was bitching about casual matchmaking, and I was explaining to the world why the fucking round limit that they added in Meet Your Match is the biggest fucking turd that could have possibly been added, and it ruins the game. That's what I was doing last Christmas. But I want to say, I'm very happy that this Christmas I did not have to be the Grinch, because I actually have something good to say about the state of TF2 right now. For the first time in 8 years, we've actually had a pretty good year for Team Fortress 2. 2024 was without a doubt in my mind the best year that this game has had since at least 2016. Granted, that's not a very high fucking bar, but hey, it's still worth celebrating. For the first time in almost a decade, I actually end this year feeling optimistic for the future of the game. And the main reason for my optimism is, of course, this is the year that I found the greatest TF2 server ever created, castaway.tf. And if you want to join the greatest TF2 server ever made, all you have to do is join our Steam group and join our Steam group chat, and you will be notified of when we're filling the servers up. And then you can join in on the fun and help us in our holy war against casual matchmaking. I also have some good news to share with my one Mongolian viewer, and that is that Castaway now has a server up and running in Asia. So we're up in 4 continents at this point, and no matter where you are in the world, you can play on Castaway with a decent ping. And I'll get into specifics on why I love this server later on. But before we get to Castaway, I would like to talk about a few other topics first. First thing I want to talk about is the TF2 comic, which finally got finished up after 7 years of nothing. They finally pulled it off. And, I just want to mention the comic quickly because, it's still fresh in our minds. You just read it, if you did read it. And, if you didn't read it, I got to say, I'm surprised, but I would actually recommend you read it. It's actually pretty fucking good. I had very little expectations for this thing. First of all, I had very little expectation that this was ever even going to come out at this point because, it's been so long. Barring that, I was also pretty pessimistic about, if it does come out, then it has to be shit. Because if something takes this long and it's sitting this long in development hell, especially when we're talking about creative works and you can't think up of how to fucking end your story for years on end, that's not a very good sign. So, I thought this was going to be terrible. But I gotta say, it was actually pretty fucking good. I was satisfied with how they wrapped it up. And, that's all you can ask for at this point. I'm very glad they didn't do some gay subversion bullshit where, all the mercs got cancer and died, and wow, it's just so fucking depressing. No, it's Team Fortress 2. It's a jovial game. And, the ending reflects that. They had just enough of the, end of story, sentimental type shit. And it was nice. And it was still funny, they turned the Marasmus into the Giga Chad. That's all great. It just made you feel good. It gave you a nice little Christmas feeling. And, it just wrapped up the story in a satisfying way. And it didn't, piss me off. And I didn't want to kill myself after I read it. And, I'm just happy for that. I want to talk about the infamous statue, because you already had some fucking Twitter weirdos and some slop tubers going on about oh my god, they just revealed in the comic that TF2 is going to have 5 more teams. This is TF3. This is going to be a new update. Dude, what are you talking about? That's a fucking Overwatch character. That's a parody of modern hero shooters. I mean, 2-4 twerkers of all people understood this shit. It's common knowledge the guy's retarded, but even he runs circles around your average TF2 slop tuber. He's on a higher intellectual plane. I mean, that says a lot, man. That really says a lot about society, you know? I really like the statue thing. I like what it's saying. I mean, at least this is what I think it's saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into all this. Okay, so here's what I think. From the corporate perspective, the TF2 mercs are like an outdated joke. They're a bunch of unhinged maniacs. They're from a different time and they need to be replaced by the modern standard. The mercs are the fucking B team. More accurately, the F team. They're last in line. They're fucking bottom feeders. That is, at least, how the corporate world looks at them. And here's the punchline. That is a memorial statue, right? All of those supposedly better, the squeaky clean professional teams, the modern teams that were supposed to replace the Mercs, they're already dead, And Team Fortress, Team F, that's the last one standing. That's the one you don't see on the statue because for some reason they're still fucking standing. They're alive. And, you have to be blind to not see the symbolism here. We've been told for years now that TF2 is just an outdated relic of the past, And we've been told a dozen times already how some flavor of the month shooter is going to come in and it's going to replace TF2. And we've seen time and time again the same story. TF2 has outlasted them all. And the suits just don't get it. They don't understand it. And they keep underestimating TF2 and they're thinking that, some marketing douchebags are going to give them a replacement. And they'll never be able to get why they fail. TF2 lasted this long exactly because it's the antithesis of that corporate mindset. It's the antithesis of all this fucking modern, streamlined, focus group tested, esports ready, engagement based, battle pass, sterile, soulless, fucking streamer bait, Skinner box corporate garbage that has been pumped out in the past decade. TF2 could not have been created in a boardroom meeting, And that's exactly why this game hasn't been replaced. And the best part is, something that I find really funny, all of those like parody characters that you see on those statues, you could put every single one of those into Deadlock and they would not stand out. They would all fit perfectly. I gotta say, the people who made this comic, they have some serious fucking balls because I think they're openly critiquing Valve at this point. I mean, you could look at Manco as a parody of modern Valve, And they basically almost spell it out for you later on when Saxton Hale appears. You got Saxton Hale. He's sitting in his office. Business is booming. Manco is basically printing money. And yet, he's sitting there. He's like completely depressed. He's like drinking. He's like, I fucking hate this place. And then the little girl that he's enslaved tells him that this company's boring as shit and all they do is sell useless garbage to a bunch of idiots. Like, I actually couldn't believe that this was a real line at first. I had to reread it several times. Like, holy shit. They couldn't be any more blatant. I have no idea how this got past the Valve censors because, this comic is basically openly calling out Valve for becoming a boring, soulless corporation. And, all they do is they sell skins and they don't do anything interesting anymore. Hale is surrounded by a bunch of old trophies in his office, and he's living off his past glories, and he hasn't done anything that cool in a very long time, and that's exactly like Valve. They're living off the glory from the awesome games that they made well over a decade ago at this point. There was a time when they used to do great things. They used to take risks. They used to innovate. They used to push the industry forward, and now they just sit there with the billions that they've made by selling pixels to fucking morons, and they do fucking nothing with the fortune they've made. They lost all of the passion that they used to have for actually creating great games, and now they just exist just to make money. No other reason. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hallucinating all this, but I genuinely can't interpret what this comic is saying in any other way. I also really like the ending. The comic obviously has themes of finality, moving on, letting go, all that type of shit. To the untrained eye, to the plebeian, that has to be saying that, TF2 is over and it's all done and it's time to let go and it's time to move on. But, I really don't see it that way because of the ending. Because in the very end, good old Saxton Hale, he's still out there fucking massacring wild animals, barehanded. His teeth are falling out and he's about to have a heart attack. He's 90 years old, but he's still doing that shit. So, yeah, it's true. All good things come to an end. Nobody gets to live forever. Even Saxton Hale, the ultimate killing machine, even he has to die. And at some point, even Team Fortress 2 is going to meet its end. But we still got a long time left. We still got a lifetime left until we're at that point when we're all like fucking geriatric and we're all in diapers shitting ourselves. We still have a lifetime to do whatever it is we enjoy doing. There's absolutely no reason not to go out there and squeeze every last bit of fun we still can from TF2 while we still can. And let me tell you something. TF2 still has some gas in its tank. It has some miles to go. And it ain't dying just yet. Because TF2 just beat the cancer that was supposed to bury it for good. I'm referring to the fact that TF2's bot crisis is finally at an end. And this is a big thing. If you told me at the start of this year that the bots were going to be gone come summer, I would have thought you were full of shit. It wasn't even a possibility in my head anymore. But hey, they did it. Valve finally got off their ass and they did the bare fucking minimum. It's worth celebrating that the bots are gone. This is a great thing. But it's also very important to remember just how ridiculous it is that this situation lasted for this long to begin with. And you gotta get the history right. 7 fucking years. That's how long Casual was being raped by bots. And don't let anyone try to fool you and give you some bullshit fake number. Oh, it's 4 years. No. 7 fucking years. And yeah, McWicker leaking the TF2 source code didn't help. Obviously, that didn't make the situation any better. But the bot bullshit has started long before that fucking leak. This lasted for 7 fucking years. And I know that because I was there when it all began. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, how every single fucking harvest server was suddenly completely overflowing with cat bots out of fucking nowhere. And then they started spreading everywhere from there, and before you knew it, you couldn't find a server in casual matchmaking that's not getting destroyed by bots. And I mean literally destroyed, because they would straight up crash the servers if you tried kicking them. And this began in the summer of 2017, a single year after casual matchmaking was introduced. And yeah, I wonder, guys, if that's a coincidence that, less than a year after casual matchmaking gets into the game, less than a year after Meet Your Match, somehow the bot crisis begins there. And, when we had years of Quickplay, none of that ever happened. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? And the people who are installing this game today, they're not even going to be able to believe that this game was basically unplayable for 7 fucking years. The bot crisis is going to sound like some sort of bizarre campfire tale. It's too absurd to be true. Which is exactly why we should never allow this fact of the bot crisis and the fucking length of the bot crisis. This should never be forgotten, and it should never be underestimated. Never forget how hard this game got fucked and how long it all lasted. And never forget that for 7 years, Valve allowed this shit to happen. And they were still milking millions from the game every single year. This is a shameful fact. And it shows you the chronic level of neglect that Valve has showed this game in the past decade. And it also tells you just how pathetic and passive the TF2 community was for tacitly accepting this completely unacceptable state of the game, feeding millions every year to a company that refused to give an ounce of a fuck about TF2 for this long. You had people making excuses for Valve and saying that the bot hosters were some sort of unstoppable army of fucking cunning, evil geniuses, and Valve simply couldn't compete with them. Like when the reality is that they weren't even fucking trying. It's fucking hilarious at this point. And we can only laugh about it now because it's finally fucking over. Someone sent me a video of a bot hosting tutorial for Team Fortress 2. I even have it bookmarked to this day. But unfortunately, it's a damn shame the video got deleted. But, it's really telling. You know what it was? It was a literal fucking 11-year-old. Some genuine squeaker actually making a video, a tutorial about how to host bots in TF2. And he fucking did it. He showed you how he did it. And this was one of the so-called masterminds behind the bot crisis. This is the fucking, these are the people that Valve couldn't fucking compete with for 7 years. Hosting bots was so fucking simple that middle schoolers, their balls haven't even dropped yet. They were doing it. You could have trained a fucking monkey to be a bot hoster. It was that easy to do it. And all this shit was allowed to go on for almost a fucking decade. And people had the gall to be surprised when someone like me pops up and is pissed off about it, as if I was overreacting by being a little bit upset, just a little bit upset that the game was casually allowed to be completely fucking shit on with impunity by a tiny amount of complete subhumans. While a bunch of spineless morons were still spending thousands on the game through all of this bullshit, and they were offended by the mere concept of a boycott. But with all that said, finally, the bot crisis is over. After 7 years, officially, we can say it's done, and the bot cancer has officially been destroyed. Going forward from this year on, the month of June should now be a special month of celebration for TF2 because it's on this month, in the June of 2024, that is when the bots were finally thrown into the shadow realm where they fucking belong. I can actually tell you the exact date on which the bot crisis ended because Valve implemented the anti-bot measures that finally ended this bullshit less than 24 hours after a video I made on June 27th, 2024. That's the date. The video I made right before this happened was my Fix TF2 hashtag circle jerk critique, you could say. And in that video, I said that Valve was never gonna ban the bots. Nowadays, some comments on this video are saying, oh, this aged like milk. Hey, that video aged like milk less than a fucking day after I released it. But hey, let me ask you a question. Can you blame me for the fact that I had zero faith in Valve banning the bots? That video was released on the literal final day of the bot crisis. I was completely demoralized as far as Valve's concern for the game went. And after 7 motherfucking years of this bullshit, there was absolutely no reason for me to believe that this time was going to be different. This month, this fucking day, the coming day was going to be the day that never came before in all this time, in all these years. But it was. It was actually that day. And it was fucking glorious. Getting to see the shrieking and the seething of these subhuman piece of shit cornholing, bot hosting cocksuckers as they realized that they were being thrown out into the abyss and all of their accounts were getting nuked. That was beautiful. That was worth the wait. And just like that, the mask was removed. We were told by some spastic Valve apologists that the bot hosters could never be stopped. No matter what measures Valve took, they're just too powerful. They're too smart. They're gonna find a workaround. But all it took was the bare fucking minimum. And all of the bot hosters were using the same software. And it was made by like 1 or 2 pedophiles that actually had some, technical inclination and they knew what they were doing, right? But as soon as that software, Cathook, by the way, as soon as that was neutered, the rest of the bot hosters, who were all degenerate groomers, or they're grooming victims who will become groomers in the future. All of that shit fell apart immediately because most of them were complete fucking clueless, retard, spastic fucks that had no idea what they were doing. And everything fell apart for these bot hosting assholes immediately, and they had zero ability to retaliate. All of their pathetic attempts to resurge and restart the bots, it all ended in instant failure and account termination. Just like that, the house of cards instantly collapsed. That's all it took. Where are these evil geniuses that I've been promised that are going to have countermeasures against everything that Valve does? And they're going to have like a budget of $1 million and they're just going to, find a workaround against everything. And they're just going to keep hosting bots. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where are these masterminds? I can't see them. Tell me. Well, I'll tell you where I think they are. I think half of them have already ended their miserable fucking lives because they're completely meaningless. And hey, this is the one thing that they had, these bots. This is the one thing, the one thing that they could do to feel like they're making a difference in the world. Well, without that, what reason is there to go on? It's over. And the other half are in like Discord or in like fucking VR chat and they're grooming kids. They moved on to there because that's the main thing that they like to do. I am firmly of the belief that Valve only actually ended up doing something about the bots because they were afraid that the TF2 community was finally going to stop sucking their dick. They were going to grow a spine. And, like the idea for a boycott, that was actually seriously being considered. Only after 7 years, mind you. It's kind of ridiculous that it took 7 years to even get there. But it was actually starting to be, a popular idea. More and more people wanted to see that happen, And people were going out there and finally openly calling Valve out for their bullshit. And, can you imagine if we all just sat there with our thumbs up our ass and we accepted the status quo like the Valve apologist dumbasses wanted us to, while we sat there waiting patiently for however knows how many more years until Valve graciously decided that they were going to do their fucking job. I am certain that we would still have bots flooding the servers to this day if we just fucking sat there. Valve only did this because they got a kick in the ass. Not from some fucking sensationalist tabloid, mind you. No, they got a kick in the ass from us. We, the fucking people, made this happen. So let this be a lesson we remember. Nothing good happens if you just sit there waiting and, you accept the status quo when things are obviously going to shit. When the people stand up and they show some fucking balls for once, then they can win. So yeah, I still stand by everything I said in that last video, in my fixed TF2 video. Well, granted, I do have to admit, Omegatronic was not drone striked as I requested. No, that didn't happen. Instead, he was beheaded by a bunch of far-right Azov Nazi mercenaries that invaded his oblast. But hey, I'm not going to complain about that. Close enough. I was in the ballpark. Should Valve have allowed the bot crisis to last 7 years? No, absolutely fucking not. Should the TF2 community have allowed Valve to get away with abandoning the fucking game for 7 years? Fuck no. But should we be happy that the bots are finally gone? Of course. Obviously. Absolutely. Better late than never. That's what I say. Valve did something good. Belated as their actions might be, the game right now is 1,000 times better off than it was before June of this year. Don't get me wrong. Casual matchmaking is still a total piece of shit. But I'd much rather that Roberto Gonzalez 2014 play casual without getting killed by aimbots every 2 seconds. I mean, if he has to use casual, it's better that we don't have bots flooding every single fucking server. I mean, we can all agree on that, I think. I still have no idea why you can't call for fucking medic or speak, but, that's a mystery to this day. Hey, it's never too late to change. No one is going to shit on the guy that beats his fucking crippling alcoholism after 20 years. And no one's going to shit on Valve for finally doing the right thing as far as TF2 is concerned. This is awesome. This is what I was waiting for a long time. And all I'm saying is that it should have happened sooner. But I am glad, I am satisfied, and I will say, I will give credit where it's due. Valve did a good thing for Team Fortress 2 this year, and we should be thankful for that. And now that Valve has proven that they can actually do something good for this game, we can actually have some hope. Some hope that other aspects of this game are going to be improved and other serious problems that the game has will possibly be addressed. So June 2024 is a very big breaking point for TF2. It's a big milestone date, because if you asked me about the state of this game before that date, I would have been completely demoralized, and I would have said that, this game has fucking no hope, and it's only a matter of time before it fucking drops dead. Now there is some hope. Like, there is a slight glimmer of fucking hope out there, and, who knows? I'm really just holding out that, like, this is the beginning of Valve actually showing some interest in this game again. And, we'll see. We have a few years left until the 20th anniversary of this game. And again, if the bots never got banned, I would have had zero hope for that date. But now, I'm actually holding out that something good might be able to happen. And again, this is a very big thing, because out of the last 8 years, this is the first year out of the last 8 that you can actually end the year feeling optimistic for the state of the game. And hey, you can't call me delusional anymore when I tell you that Quickplay could be added back into the game. Because I myself thought that this bot shit was never going to be settled. But after almost a decade, finally, it happened. So, hey, it could be. There's a small chance that after almost a decade of casual matchmaking, it ain't over. We could still get Quickplay back. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. Our Lord and Savior, Robin Walker, peace be upon him, will ride back in, bring back Quickplay, and liberate us from the shackles of casual fucking matchmaking. The end of the bots is fantastic news, but ironically, funnily enough, I've barely even played casual since the bots got banned. And the main reason for that is that about a week before the bots got shit canned, on June 19th of 2024, another great thing happened in the month of June. A little TF2 server called Castaway popped up. And as far as TF2 goes, finding this server has been the best thing that has happened to me this year. This server is much bigger than even the bots getting banned, for me. Castaway is like my fucking promised land. And if you told me at the beginning of this year that I would regularly be playing in full lobbies on maps like RD Asteroid, TC Hydro, Cactus Canyon, SD Doomsday, I would have thought you were nuts. I haven't been able to play these maps at all in about a decade. But hey, there you go. I did exactly that. I've been doing that exact thing on Castaway. And I've played more Hydro matches in the past 2 weeks than I have in my entire 12-year playtime before I found Castaway. Being able to play with the Quickplay rule set on this server means that I can actually play on a map without having to worry that it's going to end in 3 minutes and I'm going to be put into a fucking loading screen for no reason. Every game mode and map actually works as intended. And it isn't just constant fucking downtime like casual matchmaking. If there's a stomp on Castaway, hey, guess what? We just scrambled the game. Or better yet, I could just switch teams and I try to even them out. The auto balance actually works again. And the game actually works again. And again, in the beginning of the year 2024, the idea that I was going to be able to play daily in full servers that allowed me to equip the old Sandman Guillotine combo or the old Ambassador, that wasn't something that I would have ever even dreamed of, But that's exactly what I've been doing on Castaway in the past few months. All of the biggest problems that I've had with this game for the past 8 years have been fixed thanks to this server. The last 500 hours or so that I've spent playing this game since the summer and since Castaway popped up, it has been like a dream come true. I finally remembered that old feeling that this game gave me when I first started playing it. Castaway has proven to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's not nostalgia that made me look back fondly on the older days of TF2 when I first started playing this game. TF2 really is the most fun game out there when it's not ruined, when you don't actively suppress this game's potential with these fucking ridiculous rule sets and this dog shit ass awful balancing. You know, like when you remove all the bullshit, this game really is the best there is. So, going back to last Christmas and looking back when I was forced to be the Grinch and I had to explain to the world why casual matchmaking is just a fucking turd. Looking back from today, it really puts it into perspective just how much more I enjoyed this game. How much more this game has improved to me in the matter of a single year. I actually get to just enjoy this fucking game again. Like I haven't been able to do that in a very long time. Like when I was playing casual, I was just fucking constantly frustrated with all the fucking bullshit that I had to deal with. And now I just fucking sit there, I just play the game, and it's awesome. It's as awesome as it always was and as it always should have been. They say that you don't know you're in the good days until the good days are over, right? Until you're looking back. But that's not true to me right now because I know that I got really lucky with Castaway. And I know that the good days, I'm in the fucking good days right now. I appreciate all of the awesome sessions that I got to play on this server already. And let me just say that this would not have been possible without all of you guys. In the beginning of Castaway, in the early days, at the start, we had trouble getting the server populated just for a few hours every week. Like we couldn't even fill up a server once. Then I started relentlessly shilling Castaway in every single video, and many of you answered a call to action. Out of the 790 members that Castaway has as of me making this video, over 600 of those members came directly from this channel. And almost a quarter of my entire subscriber base has answered the call and has joined Castaway. That is a fucking fantastic ratio. And it's thanks to the hundreds of you that actually joined that now we can populate this server in multiple continents every single day. And the best part is that this is just the beginning. We are still in the early days of Castaway. This is still a 6-month-old community, and it's already made tremendous progress. I'm proud that I had something to do with that progress, and I want to say thanks to all of you for actually making that progress possible. Also, I want to give a shout out to my main man, Random, the guy who created the server, absolute fucking legend. He made this happen. He created the server, and he's doing all the technical shit. And this would not have been possible without him. I gotta tell you, this guy's a fucking 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. Because I've been dealing with fucking server admins and server jannies and server owners in online games since I was in short pants. And almost every single interaction that I've had with these fucking so-called people has been entirely negative. And I fucking hate all of them. But meeting this guy, I got really lucky because he's actually not fucking retarded. Like every single other case that I can think of. But I gotta say, it's about fucking time. For the first time in decades, I've actually met a guy that hosts a server that isn't a total fucking dipshit. So he's a very important reason for why the server is doing so well. But of course, the most important part is the hundreds of Castaway patriots that have dedicated themselves to the cause and that get in there and fill up the servers every single day. Granted, it is TF2. It's Autism Central. So you still have a few fucking spurglords that we've had to deal with. You had a couple of cheaters that we dealt with extreme fucking prejudice. But The vast majority of you guys are awesome. And I hope you all stick around and you keep this the most fun community server out there. It's been too long, man. It has been too long since I've actually been a part of a good community out there. And, you know, it really enriches the fucking game a lot more. You know, like, this is what gaming used to be about, you know, before all the fucking matchmaking cancer. Castaway's been like a fucking time machine. And I mean that in the best way possible. So if you want to do me a favor, you want to do yourself a favor, and you want to do Team Fortress 2 a favor, join me on the greatest community server ever made and continue fighting the good fight for Quickplay and join me in my holy war against casual matchmaking. So my only hope is that a year from now, by the Christmas of 2025, I can come to you and I can tell you that Castaway is thriving. No matter what time of the day it is, you know, there's a full server going on somewhere out there 24/7. America, Europe, Asia, Australia, somewhere at some point of the day, there is a full server of Castaway that's filled up. That's all I want right now. If that is achieved, far as I'm concerned, TF2 is already fucking fixed. So if you like this channel, if you agree with what I have to say about TF2, by all means, subscribe, like, comment, yada, 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 all that good shit. But the most important thing that you can do, if you want to help me out, is join castaway.tf and help us fill the servers up every single day. That is my main goal right now. My crusade against casual matchmaking continues, and I see absolutely no reason to return to Valve servers unless Quickplay, of course, comes back. Barring that, I ain't going back, because as far as I'm concerned, Castaway is TF2. True TF2. TF2 without the bullshit and the cancer. And this is where I will remain. I would rather play Castaway with 400 ping than go back to casual. That's not an exaggeration. That's not a joke. Like, I'll join the fucking Australian or the Chinese server over playing casual because I have a better experience in fucking Castaway, even when I'm like fucking teleporting all over the place. Like, no joke. So with that said, I hope that 2025 ends up being a great year for you, for me, for castaway.tf, and most importantly, for Team Fortress 2. See you there.
But it sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I thought that was his rap.
Did you stay in the fuck still? No, it doesn't matter. Shit, spy! Oh, it's over now. It actually is over.
Hold a few more seconds, boys, please.
It's never been over.
GG, guys. Best fucking ad roll session.